week in Strasbourg, we will be voting on the EU digital wallet, which will introduce real age verification. That will mean that children under the age of 13 will not be able to access damaging social media apps. This is the kind of regulation that parents across Ireland, across Europe are looking for, and I'm looking forward to voting for it today.
Hype! I'm hyped. Okay, listen, Americans, I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, you're going to get a wave of groomers and pedophiles that are going to flee Europe. They're going to go into your country because your country is just not safe. And so Europe is going to lock down. It's going to be a paradise for children. And America is going to be the hellscape. That's where the Epstein Island is. That's the evil nation on planet Earth that has a constitution that guarantees free speech and is protecting people against such kindness and compassion from the government. Like, while Americans are going to be forced to have their children on social media, parents are going to be horrified seeing their little kids on Discord, Europe is going to enter a new age of prosperity. Our children are going to be the most sane, the most well-educated on planet Earth. The only country that's going to rival the European Union is going to be China. That's right, America last. Because you guys just don't know how to properly protect your children from the evils of the internet. Look at this, right? This is European democracy, see? The brain-rotted Americans, the way they do democracy is that they have the average citizen try to petition their representative. No. See, the proper way of doing it is that the representative tells the citizens what they want. Okay, so you want this, you want that. Apparently what people want is digital wallet, right? Isn't this awesome? Like having a digital wallet, no more paperwork, no more dead trees. Like, Europe is so advanced compared to the rest of humanity. I'm so glad to be a citizen of the European Union. If only they could play the European anthem a little bit more, so that I can touch my heart when I hear it and think of Ursula von der Leyen. Look at this. 13 age limit enforced with the upcoming EU digital wallet. 16 age limit for access with parental consent. Ireland must implement the digital wallet. They must enter the light and progress as a civilization. Unfortunately, of course, you get to see a lot of Americans here raging, being really upset with, spreading their vile memes, trying to say that the government can be malicious. Control of internet and speech. Like, do you want to wrap it with anti-terrorism or protect the kids? These vile memes from these awful people that think liberty is more important than safety. We got here in Australia, the legislation was pushed through the near midnight. I mean, that's a good thing, you get to see that the politicians are working day and night in order to keep your children safe. The last sitting day of Parliament with no time for debate of oversight. Like, what is there to debate? It's about keeping children safe. There is no debate. Like, the only debate is that it's not going far enough. Like, I would want the police to have the possibility to break into anyone's house. Like, what if the person is doing la cocaína in his house and there's kids there, right? Like, the police should have the right to break into the privacy of anyone just to make sure and have a good look. Delighted that our blueprint to help keep children safe online has just passed in the European Parliament. A major step forward in supporting parents, strengthening protections, and putting young people first. A lot of people are wondering, wait, like, I get it, the European Union is keeping our children safe, but like, who's keeping our children safe from the European Union? Like, that's a different question. This is the exact opposite of democracy. The democracy in Europe was never asked to vote on this. You are petty tyrants, and as with any tyrant, your clock is ticking. Push while you can, as far as you can. Well, here's the thing, though. Like, let's put all the jokes aside and talk about what's really going on. They were trying to push this digital ID for more than a decade now because it is so good for them. Like, if you imagine yourself as being a person that's sitting at the European Union and you're making 10,000 euros a month, you really don't want to lose that spot. I mean, you get like connections and social networking. You get to live in Brussels. You get to hire your friends to work for you as your aides. Nobody in their right mind wants to lose that spot. And so the only way you can lose that spot is if you have counter propaganda, if people start talking mad shit about how wealthy you are, if you have like opposition parties forming. And the best way to prevent that is to control the cyberspace. And we already see what's happening in Germany and Ireland and the United Kingdom, where people are arrested over memes and stuff. Now, that process can actually be sped up. Because yes, like the government can actually figure out which cheeky little shit is tweeting a meme on Facebook, but it's expensive. And they actually need to find out where the IP is, and then they actually have to sue the person, and if it happens that there's like 6 or 7 other individuals live in the same house, it's much more difficult to convict. But if you have like a digital ID that literally connects you to everything you do, then imagine what happens when your digital ID gets flagged and banned. Like all of a sudden you said something nasty on Twitter, and you're not going to be able to have a Facebook account, you're not going to be able to have a Twitch account, like all the social medias are going to reject you because your ID is flagged. And that's a real possibility and a concern, and there's no safeguards around it. If you have like a person that's a journalist or an activist or someone that's talking mad shit about the EU and actually becomes popular, a Charlie Kirk-like figure in the European Union, well, all of a sudden if they flag him on one website and the digital ID is connected to his possibility of employment, to his banking, to his healthcare, all of a sudden all of those things can be flagged. And this is like a perfect Chinese system. This is how China controls its population. And so what I find interesting is that for a while the European Union was trying to pass this digital ID, and they were really trying to pass it during COVID. Like, okay, well, you can count the number of vaccines, you can do this and that. It didn't work. And so now, like, protect the children, think of the children. Every single person that agrees with this is either paid EU shill, a useful idiot, or a person that's genuinely harmful for society. Like, I do not accept any type of reasoning for supporting this. Like, I see some people on Twitter that claim to be religious, like they have crosses in their bio and shit, and they're supporting this because, oh yeah, we're taking down pornography. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I actually do know priests, and I did ask my priest, the one that baptized my son, like, is this what Jesus would have wanted? Like, what is the Orthodox Church statement on this? And he said, like, fuck no. Obviously, it's wrong. Because there are parental controls. Like even an Orthodox priest in 2025 understands technology. And he said, like, no, there are parental controls. The responsibility of raising children is that of the family and the community. And it's not of Brussels. And this is what people are pointing out in the comment section as well. It's like, hold on a little bit. Like, in 2025, we have so much advanced parental controls that it's almost impossible for a parent that actually wants to parent his kid to have his kid go on websites that the parent doesn't want him to go on. The thing is, though, like, I'm actually okay with the principle. Like, I too believe that people under the age of 13 shouldn't go on social media. And I was going to make sure that my son doesn't have social media access by the age of 13. But what I'm more scared is not my son having access to social media before he's 13. What I'm more scared of is my son living up in this hellscape, this authoritarian shithole that is being normalized by basically forcing everyone to live as if we're in China or as if we're under the pandemic. Because this is pretty much the same idea like we had during the pandemic, right? Healthy people mask up. Healthy people don't go to work. Healthy people have to suffer. It's not the kids in this situation that have to show ID online, right? I have to show ID online. I'm not a kid. Why is it that I now have to show my ID? Why do I have to comply with the digital ID bullshit to navigate the internet when I'm obviously over 18? I've never been asked about this. This wasn't discussed in Romania. And the interesting thing is, like, what happens when my data gets leaked? Like, say I want to log on Twitter. I have to prove that I'm over 18. I show them my ID. And then there's a data leak. And now I see that my information is out there. Who's responsible for this? Are the people at the EU that voted for this responsible? Can I sue them? Can I sue them for passing this legislation? No, okay, so who gets fucked? I get fucked. And this is why I will not comply with this. Like, I will find every single possibility, every trick in the book to make absolutely sure that I, as an adult, don't have to be humiliated every single time I want to go on social media. Whether it's using a video game character to pass the verification bullshit, whether it's finding AI pictures that open your mouth and close their mouth, whatever the fuck may be, as long as it's legal, I will make absolutely sure that I will also help others figure out how to do it. I will not show my identification to social media knowing that in the past, datas were leaked. Or that the government wants to normalize the idea that someone should be in charge that can unperson a human being with a click of a button. And if I see anyone that's like, oh, well, no, this is religious, this is what Christ wanted, I will assume that they're a Brussels shill. I do not assume that that is a religious person. I assume that that is a snake or a person that's so incompetent and so fucking retarded that doesn't warrant the conversation to begin with. The same thing with the ban porn movement. Like, all of this is connected. This is literally the excuse that they've used in order to pass this. You're not going to ban porn in the age of AI, you moron, where people can actually have an AI on their offline computer, whether it's a chatbot or something that generates images. You cannot stop it with this shit. The only way you can stop it is, like, I guess, like, if you allow police to walk into anyone's house and search their devices at any point without any due cause or process or any suspicion, then maybe, sure, you know, treat the offline AI the same way that the communists treated Radio Free Europe. Then maybe you can somehow get a lid on it, but this is unacceptable for a free and just society. This will make any type of opposition building against the current establishment in the EU almost impossible. And assuming that the European Union actually wants to protect children, and this is not about bureaucrats doing content creep, and it starts with protecting children, but then it moves on to hate speech, misinformation, disinformation. You know, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, in Europe, you guys don't have guns, and so if Charlie Kirk was in Europe, he wouldn't have been assassinated. And I kind of agree with that, you know, like, it's true. If Charlie Kirk was actually in Europe, he wouldn't have been assassinated. What would have happened is that he would have gotten debanked, he would have probably been put on trial for some hate speech, and then he would get arrested and imprisoned. And then maybe something bad happened to him in prison. Because I look at what's happening in Germany, I look at what's happening in the United Kingdom, I look at what's happening sometimes in Austria, and this is pretty much the pattern. And now, in our infinite wisdom, we're allowing the European Union to actually get even more control, to crack down even harder. Like, if you have a person that has a pattern of being an authoritarian, so much so that the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, came to Europe and said, you guys don't align with our values anymore. And you're giving that person the ability now to know everyone on the internet, to remove internet anonymity, to normalize the idea that countries can dictate to American social media businesses what should and shouldn't be allowed on their platform. What do you expect will happen? It's so insane. Anyway, really disappointed by this. Not the end of the world. You know, I definitely will not comply with it. I'm an adult. I don't have to register myself on social media. If there are ways around it, I will use them. Whether it's VPNs, Tor, whatever the case may be, I will find it. I've never used a VPN before, but I think I will start. Whether it's figuring out using anime characters in order to bypass the facial recognition bullshit. Whether it's video game characters or using AI in order to generate a real-life person in order to bypass the facial recognition. Whatever the case, I'll fucking do it. I do not recommend to anyone complying with this and giving their actual ID, because that's fucking insane. And I had this conversation on Twitter with a couple of people that are supporting this. Again, a lot of them have crosses in the bio, and they have their accounts in Bangladesh. But they were like, oh, so you don't want kids safe, oh, so you're for pornography. And I'm like, okay, well, show me your ID then, because I don't think you're over the age of 18. Like, no one over the age of 18 is this retarded. Like, show me your ID. And they refused to show it to me. And I'm like, but why, though? But why aren't you showing me your ID, right? Because it's like walking in a bar, isn't it? Just show me your ID. They don't want to. And so, like, let me get this straight. You don't want to show me your ID, but you're happy with showing your ID to a third-party corporation. So, like, if I start a company now, and it's like a robust age security verification bullshit, and I start that company, then you would show ID. Why? And by the way, like, where did these companies came from? Who funded them? Who financed all of these companies that just popped up last year in order to do this robust age verification? They almost came out of the woodwork, didn't they? It's fascinating, isn't it? And now we have to trust them with our data. Where are they located? Where's the headquarters? Who funded them? Where did they get their money from? How did they know? That's another question, right? Like, you have all these companies that do robust age verification just happening to be there when the laws got passed. And it just so happens that all the laws get passed simultaneously in Australia, in the United Kingdom, in the European Union, in some American states. And the companies just happen to be there. And all of it, like, the solution, right, is not for seeing, like, countries trying to adopt different systems. Like, maybe some countries try stronger parental controls. Maybe some countries would try to force Apple and Samsung in order to make their phones that have, like, safety features built in the hardware for children. No, like, all of them just agreed that the only possible way to keep children safe online is for digital ID, and no other way can be even considered. No debate, no discussion. Notice how this conversation didn't even exist 3 years ago. And I'm to assume that, no, actually, this is for the benefit of my child. Which, by the way, I will decide when he gets to use social media. If I think that at the age of 12, he's going to fucking use social media, he's going to use social media at the age of 12. If I think that at the age of 21, he's too stupid to use social media, then he's going to get hit with my house, my rules. If I see my kid at the age of 21 being pro-EU and being pro-Brussels, he's not using a laptop in my house. Fuck that shit. And I will make sure, by the way, that every single time my kid is going to cry because, like, his friends are using social media or whatnot, I will say, no, you can't use it. I mean, I would allow you to use it, but the European Union has passed a legislation preventing you from using it. I will make absolutely sure that I will remind him every single day when he's miserable. The European Union is the one that passed this legislation. And people with crosses in the bio in Bangladesh on Twitter supported this little Billy. I think, like, if my kid grows up and he's not skeptical of the European Union, I probably failed as a father. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.